My next guest is Tony Dimitriadis, and I'm going to let him into the room now, and we'll start a little bit early. And he's going to be sharing with us 5 secrets to a financially rewarding, tax-efficient lifestyle business. Hey, Tony, how you going?
I'm going fantastic, Rose. How are you?
Oh, all the better for seeing you, my dear.
Fabulous, fabulous.
How you been? Are you well?
I am well. Yes, all is well with family, with business, with everything. Generally speaking, so yeah, very happy with the way things are going.
Good stuff. Now, for those of you who don't know Tony, he is an accountant. He runs an accounting and advisory firm, and he specializes in helping ambitious business owners build a financially rewarding, tax-efficient lifestyle business. He's a CPA, which is a certified practicing accountant, and has successfully run his firm AD Partners for over 20 years, and he is the author of Built It, and over 20 years, let me start again. He's the author of Built It and The Money Will Come. It was released in April 2017. Business owners have been educated and have gained experience in providing the product or service that they do. Unfortunately, what they haven't been given are the resources and training to financially manage their business. And as I said, Tony's going to be sharing with us the 5 secrets to overcome this. And he has a special gift that he is giving away, which is the Built It book in PDF form. So you need to be a member of this group to receive that. And I've already got a copy. I think it's a wonderful document, and it's very thorough, I must say. Tony, the floor is yours, my dear. You have permission to share your screen, and I look forward to your presentation.
Very good. Can everyone see? Oh, hang on. Let's press the button. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can now.
Fabulous. Well, thank you again, Rose, for the opportunity to present on this wonderful global business summit that you've organised. As you said, really what we're about is helping ambitious business owners to build a financially rewarding, tax-efficient lifestyle business. Now, that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but from a business owner's perspective, it means financially rewarding, so maximising the return they're getting from the business, being tax-efficient, paying the least amount of tax is possible, legally, of course, and to generate a lifestyle business, a business that generates them, as we said, that money, but also gives them the time to enjoy the life they want. And as an ambitious business owner, they want to achieve their goals, whatever they might be, whether that's financial stability, whether that's taking control over the business, over your life. Ultimately, you want that lifestyle that enables you to have as much money in your pocket as you need and as much time to be able to use it. And those 2 things are important, because it's not just about the money, because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the time to enjoy that money, then obviously things make it a bit difficult to get that lifestyle that you want. Now, as you said, you touched on the fact that probably the number 1 reason why business owners fail is not because they're not good at what they do. The business or the service, the product they provide, they're actually very good at, sometimes experts in, but they may not be experts in actually running a business and financially managing a business. And that's where a lot of business owners fail. A lot of people have heard all of the stats about, how many businesses fail, what percentage fail in the first year, in the first 5 years, in the first 10 years. It's pretty alarming. And generally speaking, it's not because they're not good at what they do. It's because they're not good at the business side of things. So the slide I've got up here is future-proof your business. So these are the 5 steps that we talk about, and we really work closely with our clients to try and master. And if all these 5 steps are mastered, then we believe that any business owner is going to be well on their way to achieving that lifestyle business that they ultimately want. So the first step is strategy. So that's really understanding, where you actually want to go, what you want to actually achieve in your business, understanding where you are now, and then plotting the most effective course from where you are now to ultimately where you want to be. So, things like, doing a financial health check, doing a SWOT analysis, creating a strategic plan are all important aspects. And I'll dive into that a bit more later. The second step is structure. So understanding your structure, what is the current structure that you're in? Is it the right one for you? What are your options? What should you be considering when you're choosing the right structure for you and your business and your personal circumstances? The third is about statutory. So that's the compliance side of your business, understanding what your responsibilities are. Do you actually know them? Are you meeting them? There's one thing knowing them, but if you ain't meeting them, then that, problems will occur. How to best manage them is obviously very important. The fourth step is systems, and that's when we talk about not just computers, but actually managing your cash flow, managing your working capital, managing your finances. So really delving into how you run the business, not doing so on an ad hoc basis, but actually putting systems in place and processes in place. And the fifth, and potentially one of the most important steps, particularly when it comes to your time as a business owner, is support. And a lot of business owners out there today, particularly those that might be considered small business owners, they try and do it all themselves. And the reality is you can't. And at the very least, you shouldn't. So you need to be making sure that you're engaging the right support team around you. And again, that's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but really understanding what's important from a business management perspective, from a financial perspective, who should you get around you to support you, so you can concentrate on the things that you do well and the things that make you money. So as a summary, they're the 5 steps that we talk about, Rose and listeners. So delving in a little bit deeply, going back to strategy. Benjamin Franklin was famously quoted as saying, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." Now, I know there's been a lot of talk out there in the digital and even print media about planning, and some people might suggest that it's a waste of time. Well, it's not a waste of time, because you need to understand where you want to go and how best you're going to get there. So whilst I'm not suggesting you just spend your whole life planning, because you're going to leave a fair bit of time for the doing, you still need to have that plan. And that plan can be fluid. It's not something that you scribble down and put on the bookshelf and never refer to it. It should be a living, breathing document. And really, it's about understanding who you are and what you want to achieve for your business, defining what the business is about. What is the mission? What do you want to achieve? What's your vision for your business? And it doesn't have to be super elaborate. It can be quite simple, but really taking the time to understand it. Defining your values and understanding what your guiding principles are in terms of, not only behaviours but actions, and how that's going to impact the way your business operates, and therefore the sort of clients you want to attract to your business. So that's really important. then we can sort of start to break it down into smaller chunks. So then we can sort of start looking at sort of 1 to 3 year goals rather than those sort of long-term objectives. Once we've set that sort of umbrella long-term view, is to then sort of say, well, what am I doing now? What do I really need to do next over these next 12 months to 2 or 3 years? And really narrow down the focus, whether it's staffing, whether it's a business location, whether it's the particular services you provide, whether it's some of the back office stuff that you're doing. So really start to break those longer term goals into short term goals and break them down into smaller chunks, because we can all get lost in the big picture, and that's not what we want to do. We want to really narrow the focus down and tick off one box at a time. And there's obviously a well-known goal setting system out there called the SMART goal setting system, which a number of your listeners have probably heard about, Rose. So the SMART goal setting system is an acronym for S being specific. So what do you specifically want to achieve, whether it's higher revenues, more staff, more clients, increased profit, etc., have more time off. So being really specific about the goal, make sure it's measurable. They say if you can't measure something, you can't achieve it. So really put in place a measuring system for that particular goal or goals. Being assignable, so who's going to be responsible for it, whether it's you as a business owner, whether it's someone in your team. Making sure it's realistic as well, because we can talk and sometimes be a little bit fluffy and a bit airy, but we need to make sure that the goal is realistic, it's achievable. We might be stretching ourselves, but given our resources and what we have available to us, we need to make sure that that it is within reach. Otherwise, if it's not within reach, we'll generally lose interest and we'll fall back into our old ways. And finally, T for time bound. So putting time frames around each of your goals. You might want to increase your revenue by 20% in the next 12 months. You might want to employ 2 additional staff in the next 3 months. So really make sure you're time bound as well. So that's going to put a little bit of urgency and priority in your goals. The where are you now aspect in the strategy piece is really understanding what your current situation is. What is your current financial situation, and really drilling down into your financial statements. It's amazing how many people they probably only measure 1 or 2 key financial statistics, and that's what their bank balance is. And whilst the bank balance is important, if you get all of the other financial measures in order, the bank balance will actually take care of itself. So really understanding what your financial position is, what your profit and loss is telling you, what your revenues are, how they're trending, what your costs are, your overheads. Are you achieving the right margin for the type of business that you're operating? Are you spending too much on certain overheads that aren't really adding value to your business? So really drilling down and understanding all of your revenues and your costs is important, critical in fact. I mentioned SWOT analysis before. So SWOT analysis, again, which a lot of your listeners might have heard about, is really analysing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So strengths and weaknesses are internal, so that's really about you and your business. Opportunities and threats are external to your business. So they might be market conditions, they might be your particular industry, there might be changes in the industry, so whether that's tech related or the way people are using your service or your product. So really understanding your strengths, your weaknesses internally, and really playing on your strengths, trying to minimise your weaknesses. And similarly with the opportunities and threats, what are the opportunities, and really focusing your energies on trying to make the most of those, and obviously trying to minimise the threats. So once you start doing that analysis, it really tells you a lot and really starts to get you to focus on the things that you need to be focusing on, because all of the good and the bad and the ugly fall out of those sorts of analysis. And then having understood where you want to go, where you are now, it's really then, how am I going to get there? So benchmarking is a good tool to be using, understanding, the sort of financial measures within your industry and those benchmarks. And that doesn't mean trying to be the same as everyone else, but that really means understanding where you fit in, and is your business operating sort of above or below that benchmark. Creating some key performance indicators, and really understanding, well, what are the key drivers in your business? What's really going to make a difference? We talk maybe generically about increasing revenue or decreasing costs, but it's really the things that lay in beneath that. From a revenue point, is it the type of client? Is it the type of service? Is it the fact that you might package or bundle up some services to your clients? So it's really drilling down and understanding what's going to make the most positive impact on your business. So that's really the strategy piece, Rose, and really, people need to really, get their head around that and really understand, where they want to go, where they're at, and how they're going to get there. Structure is, as we said before, it's really a matter of understanding what your current structure is and what is going to be important to you and your particular circumstances, because it's not necessarily a one structure system fits all. It really comes down to you and what's important to you and what you should be thinking about. And that's really important. So in terms of the options, if you're running a micro business, you might start off as a sole trader, and that's perfectly fine. You might go into partnership with someone, so you might set up a partnership. As business grows, then other structures such as companies and trusts come into play, and they may be a lot better for you. Whether it's and this is where it comes down to thinking about the certain options and what's important to you. So, is asset protection important to you? Is tax minimisation important to you? Is control important to you? Is flexibility important to you? Is cost important to you? There's things that maybe not necessarily top of mind now, but succession planning down the track. Is that something that's going to be important? Whether it's family members being involved in the business or key staff members. So all of those things you need to think about when setting up your structure. It's not just a matter of saying, oh yeah, I'll set up a company. That sounds about right, and away you go. So really understanding all of those things is important to choosing the right structure that suits you and your business. Then we get on to the third element, and that is statutory. And this is all of the exciting stuff, or maybe not so exciting, tongue in cheek. So this is really understanding your statutory compliance responsibilities. Firstly, actually knowing what they are, and then obviously understanding and managing them well. So you need to understand, particularly from a financial point of view, all of the things that you need to stay on top of. Because if you don't, a lot of these authorities will charge you interest. They'll hit you with penalties, whether it's late lodgement, whether you're not accurately reporting, whether you're late in making payments or late in making lodgements. And these extra costs you don't need in your business. So staying on top of your statutory compliance is important. So obviously from a financial point of view, the obvious one is tax. But when we talk about tax, there's many different types. There's income tax, there's GST, There's pay-as-you-go withholding that you that you withhold from your employees' wages. There's pay-as-you-go instalments, which are income tax you pay in advance for the upcoming year. So there's a lot of different types of taxes, and they can be paid at different points in time. But understanding what your obligations are and managing that, and managing your finances so you can meet those obligations, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or yearly, is critical. Superannuation then is another key aspect of particularly if you've got a payroll, and not just in-house employees, but contractors. So those contractors that are predominantly working for you and are predominantly providing their labour services are also potentially falling under that umbrella of superannuation guarantee that you are obligated to make the 10.5% of their gross payment to. So understanding whether or not your contractors fall in and out of that requirement is important, because if you think they don't, and then a couple of years down the track someone questions it, and they successfully prove that you should have paid them super, that's a significant financial hit. Similarly with workers' compensation, work cover, making sure you're meeting your work cover obligations, not only in terms of payment, but in terms of your annual remuneration certificate that needs to be lodged. Other taxes could be payroll tax, could be land tax, could be stamp duty, depending on the type of businesses you run. So you can see when we're talking compliance, we're not just talking about lodging a quarterly VAS or lodging an annual tax return. There's a lot of things that we need to think about and setting up your systems to be able to manage it well, but not only just manage it, but plan and have the funds there to make sure you're meeting those commitments is important. The fourth step, as we said before, is about systems, which isn't just about computers. It's really about managing your business. So monitoring your financial situation to ensure you have enough money in the bank to meet all of your obligations and to stay on top of all of your statutory requirements. So on a high level, you need systems that manage your cash flow, manage your finances, and troubleshooting any problems you might have. And from a day-to-day basis, many business owners do encounter some challenges. So cash flow is really about having the flow of funds through your business to be able to meet your commitments. There's a difference between cash and profit. You could be profitable, but you could have no cash. That's because you might be invoicing and generating a lot of business, but not collecting the money or not collecting it on a timely basis, which puts a lot of pressure on you making payments that you have to meet on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So whether that's your employees, whether that's your suppliers, whether that's the ATO, etc. So really managing your cash flow is important. So the money you receive from your clients and customers versus the money you pay out to workers, suppliers, and others. And one of the biggest killers is the ATO because the biggest killer is not actually collecting money from slow paying customers. So being on top of that is critical. The next one is the ATO, because they're the ones that typically get left by the wayside until you get a very nasty bill, whether it's from your quarterly pay-as-you-go, whether it's from your GST, whether it's from end-of-year tax. So if you're not managing that, that's a problem. And the third silent killer in this area is over-committing expenditure. So really understanding the way you're paying for things. What expenses are you incurring? Whether they're the acquisition of materials, whether they're subscription to various things. Really drilling down and understanding, the timing of these purchases and payments, and what is required and what's going to generate the greatest value for your business is really important. The other side to that then is how do we manage that? And we manage that by creating a cash flow forecast. And by doing that, we are forced to really look at what sort of money we're going to be generating from our customers, and the timing of it, on a month by month basis. And then we list all of our outgoings, all of our expenses, again on a month to month basis. And that way we can start to see whether there's any shortfalls in any particular given months that is going to cause us some issues. And then we can potentially take some action to try and alleviate that. Staying one step ahead rather than one step behind and chasing our tail. So it's really critical to focus on managing your cash flow and really looking at that on a constant basis, as much as you would your profit and loss and your balance sheet and your other financial statements. Managing finance. Now, in business, there'll come a time where you need to make some larger purchases, whether it's equipment, whether it's a change of office, whether it's vehicles, whatever it might be, whether it's to, hire new staff that is going to be a significant cash burden. So, understanding finance and your finance options for business. So essentially there's 4 ways you can get money: debt, equity, an investor or partner, or from your own internal profits. And so understanding those options and what might be the best option for you and your business, because the cheapest way technically to access money is from your own profits, and because there's no cost to that. But obviously not every small business has that luxury to have a nice list of retained earnings sitting there so they can access and dip into their own profits. So they might need to look at debt from the bank or some other financial institution. They may look for an investor or an equity partner if their business is such that by introducing one, they believe it can exponentially grow. And of course, it would need to be the right partner who's best suited to help them, exponentially grow their business. So, understanding all of those options and where your business is at and where you want to go is very important. Finally, support. So, as I touched on earlier, many business owners, particularly what we might consider small business owners, which I fall into that category, we can be guilty of trying to do everything ourselves. And as I said earlier, the reality is we can't do everything, and we shouldn't even try. So really engaging the services of the right team of people that can help you. So if you're running a service business, you might be in real estate. You can't necessarily sell all the homes or manage all of the properties, take all of the calls, update all the systems yourself. So you will employ other salesmen, property managers, some admin staff to help you in your business. So the same applies when it comes to the management of the business and the financial aspect of the business, and getting the right financial advisor on board. Now, not every small business can afford their own CFO or Chief Financial Officer, but you can engage your own virtual CFO. So having an experienced, qualified accountant advisor working for your business and working with you closely side by side to help support you in your business. And those sorts of people are out there, and finding the one that best suits you, is experienced with your type of business, is experienced in providing this type of service, obviously has the qualifications, and obviously has the passion to help support you in your business. For too long, accountants have been considered, bean counters and someone sitting in their office just tapping away at a computer. If that's the sort of accountant that you currently have and you're engaging and advisor, then I suggest you have a look at that and review that and really understand whether they're adding value to your business, because everyone that supports you in your business should be adding value to your business. They shouldn't just be providing the service needs to be adding value. So whether that's all of those expenses and outgoings that we were talking about, and really trying to eliminate those that aren't add value, and obviously utilize the ones that do, the same applies to your business and your accounting and financial support. Really having the right person to do that and help you along the way, because the reality is your expertise isn't that in that area. Your expertise is running the service or providing the product that you do and so well. And so that's where your time and energy needs to be spent, and you need to engage the services of all these others around you, such as a virtual CFO, and that extends to potentially some legal support, and other type of business support to help you in your business. So they're the 5 key steps, Rose. Sorry if I've gone over time. I'm not sure whether I have or I haven't, but they're really the 5 key steps to future-proof your business and hopefully end up with a financially rewarding, tax-efficient lifestyle business.
Wow, that's amazing. What a great presentation, Tony. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's not the first time that I've heard that presentation, but it's still very well worth noting that a lot of business owners don't know those steps that they need to take when they're hiring a financial advisor. And you're right about the accountant. If your accountant's not advising you and is just counting your money and you only deal with them once a year, then really I would be looking at another service, because your accountant really should be advising you when your cash flow is not performing as well, you're not getting those profits, and all those other things that Tony spoke about, that they should be helping you with all of those things, to help you to be compliant with government bodies and all those other things, and making sure that you've got those goals and things in place that are going to help you along the way. Tony, where can people find AD Partners and how can they work with you?
They can find us on the World Wide Web at adpartners.com.au. All our contact details there. There's some information on there, some free information, some blogs that might help people out and spark a little bit of interest. The services that we provide are there. The key industries we've specialised in. It's all listed there on the web. They can contact me directly. My contact details are on there, and I'm happy to give of my time and have a chat to anyone who might be interested in talking to us about how we can help support them, because for us it's about our business owner clients. I mean, we've got a real passion to help. That's what drives me every morning. That's what makes me bounce out of bed. Because, to be truthful, no one gets too excited about, staring at spreadsheets or lodging activity statements
No, you have to be
tax
a special
returns.
kind of person for that.
Listen, we understand it has to happen. I mean, it's a statutory obligation. We understand that, and we really like to streamline those processes. So neither us nor our business clients are spending much time on it. And with the advent of technology, obviously, we've been able to really cut down the time in that area. But the real value is the business advice, the support, the cash flow management. And it could be just what the business owner is planning, what they're thinking, and really sharing those thoughts with someone. We're that trusted advisor, that sounding board. Because we understand that pretty much every business decision has a financial implication, and really making sure that the business owner understands what those obligations are, the implications are, and understanding what their alternatives are. That way they can make an informed business decision. I've unfortunately come across business owners that have been referred to us that didn't have that, thought they were doing the right thing, and now they're faced with a significant tax bill or GST bill, and they don't understand why. And that's the biggest disappointment. That's what really upsets me, that they haven't been educated, they haven't been shown, and that really hurts when business owners find themselves in that position, because I know how difficult it is. I mean, we're all small business owners trying to support each other, and the more support we can give, hopefully the better.
Absolutely. Now, I've got to tell you two things about Tony. He's not your typical accountant, and he is one of my greatest supporters, and which I absolutely love. He supported me since very beginning of my podcast. He was one of my early interviews, and he's been on my journey now for the last 4 years, and I cannot say thank you enough for him supporting me the way that he does. But Tony is not your typical accountant, as I said. He's not the bean cruncher. He will sit with you and he will advise you on all the things that you need to do to be compliant with your business and to have a happy business. He will you don't want those tax bills, you don't want those GST bills, and if you go to him early enough, then he can help you avoid all those pitfalls.
Well, thanks very much, Rose. I really appreciate those kind words. And for us, it's about making sure that our business clients are not just surviving but thriving, because ultimately we do as a result. We want good, healthy businesses out there and business owners that are that are actually enjoying what they're doing, because there are a number of them out there because of the financial pressures and other pressures that either stop enjoying what they're doing, the passion that they had when they started out, or things have they've been confronted with things that have really caused them some great frustration. So
absolutely,
we want to try and eliminate those problems. We want every business owner to be loving what they're doing. Otherwise, you may as well go and work for somebody else, because there's a lot of effort, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears running your own business, and you want to enjoy it and you want to maximise what you get out of it. And if you're achieving that, it doesn't matter what that dollar figure might be, but if you're achieving it for you, then that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure yet again to be in your presence, because you're such a knowledgeable person and a calming influence. You just the way you present is terrific. I love it.
Thank you very much, Rose. And if any of your listeners want to reach out, we'd be more than happy to have a chat and see how we can help them, or just give them a few pointers. We have a free financial health check that they can take, which is just really a quick 25 question little survey. I'll give them a little bit of a report as a result of it. If there's any specific questions they had, as I said, my contact details are on my site. I'm on LinkedIn if anyone wants to search me there as well. So more than happy to have a chat if someone wants to reach out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. If you had some words of wisdom to share with anyone, doesn't matter who they are, what would you share?
Words of wisdom is really around, I mean, we talk about money a lot and the financial pressures, but I think the time pressures on people have got to a point where they're causing some mental and physical stress. So I think people need to really look after themselves, really need to take that bit of time. And that's not easy, particularly if you're running a business, because you're feeling 24/7 consumed and involved. But again, engaging the whole team around you to help you take a little bit of a step back when you need to take a step back, because it's not all just about money. Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the time to use it and enjoy it, what's the point?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again really soon.
Likewise, Rose. Thank you again for allowing me to be on.